You are listening to The Vocal Technologist. Spoken tech for your ears.
So, imagine building a $500 million tech company where like 80% of your software engineers don't actually know how to code a single line.
Right. It sounds insane.
Yeah, it really does. And I mean, that is not some hypothetical scenario mapped out for 5 years in the future. That is literally happening right now.
Yeah.
So welcome to today's deep dive.
Glad to be here.
Our mission today is to sift through this absolute mountain of recent design, tech, and AI newsletters we've got.
Yeah.
I mean, we are looking at everything from Apple's iOS 27 leaks to high-level corporate pivots.
Oh, yeah. A lot of pivots.
Exactly. And at first glance, these might just look like random tech updates, right? But there is this massive underlying narrative weaving them all together.
Yeah, absolutely.
We are basically witnessing this chaotic transition. We're moving from the phase of, building everything at breakneck speed with AI to the phase of frantically trying to figure out how to structurally govern and humanize these underlying systems. Okay, let's unpack this.
And, this directly impacts you listening right now. Because whether you are a designer, a developer, or just someone navigating digital tools on a daily basis, understanding this shift is going to completely change how you approach your workflow.
Oh, 100%.
It is the absolute key to protecting your time from total information overload.
Right, so let's jump straight into the deep end here.
Yeah.
Let's start with where the industry is currently obsessing. The sheer raw speed of AI prototyping.
The speed is just, it's wild right now.
It is. The stats in these sources are staggering. I mean, engineers are reporting being 4 times faster at their day-to-day tasks.
Yeah, 4 times.
There's this story here about a senior director at Slack. They used AI-assisted coding to completely upend their entire workflow. So instead of spending weeks, iterating on static design mockups in a visual tool, they bypassed that entirely.
Which is a huge mental shift.
Right. They use AI to build fully interactive prototypes that tested real data distributions in just a matter of days.
Exactly. The focus has completely shifted from seeing what looks good on a static canvas to seeing what actually holds up when you throw messy, unpredictable user data at it.
Yeah.
Which brings us back to that $500 million company you mentioned in the intro.
Oh, right. Lovable.
Yeah, Lovable. They just hit that annualized revenue mark with only 146 staff members, and they're overseeing 50 million projects.
That ratio is just absurd.
It really is. And they actively boast about their non-technical user base. Like, this is the era of what the industry is calling vibe coding.
Vibe coding. I love that term.
Right. You literally just speak an application into existence using natural language prompts. It democratizes creation by removing the friction of syntax entirely.
Okay, but I am going to push back on that whole utopian angle for a second.
Sure, go for it.
Because vibe coding sounds like 3D printing a skyscraper.
Oh, that's a good way to put it.
Right. Sure, you can print the concrete walls in record time just by pushing a button. But if you didn't calculate the load-bearing tension of the steel rebar inside those walls, I mean, the faster you build, the faster it eventually collapses under its own weight.
Yeah, no, you're right.
We have the power tools, but no one is looking at a blueprint.
Well, the data actually validates that exact fear. The sources refer to this vital concept called the complexity ceiling.
The complexity ceiling.
Yeah.
Right.
There was this massive 2026 study that analyzed over 300,000 AI-authored code commits. And the findings are honestly pretty sobering.
What did they find?
Almost 90% of those commits introduce structural code smells into the repositories.
Wait, okay. Let's define what a code smell actually is for a moment, for anyone listening.
All right.
Because it is not just a standard bug that crashes an app, right?
Right, no. A code smell means the code functions perfectly for the user today, but it violates core architectural principles, so it makes it a total nightmare to update tomorrow.
Ah, got it.
It might be like hard coding a variable that needs to scale dynamically, or creating this tangled web of dependencies. Because AI optimizes for generating a working output in the immediate moment, it rarely considers maintainability for the future.
So it just hacks it together to make it work right now.
Exactly. And the fear with vibe coding is that it risks creating a homogenized web. Every design and every app basically converges to an algorithmic average because the underlying structure is just an unscalable mess.
Right. Complex, well-structured code bases amplify AI's benefits, but tangled ones completely cap them.
Exactly.
Which explains the massive pivot we're seeing in the design world. The tool makers see this structural collapse coming from a mile away.
Oh, they definitely do.
Like, Figma just released a feature simply called Check Designs. It acts like an automated digital building inspector.
Yeah, that feature is huge.
It really is. It scans your canvas against your organization's specific design systems and flags inconsistencies. Accessibility violations, detached components, and it provides one-click fixes.
Yeah, the whole push right now is for AI-ready design systems. We are talking about moving away from purely visual libraries and moving toward structured markdown specifications and auditing tools like Figmalint.
Right.
There is even this proposed framework in the newsletters called BADEDs.
BADEs.
BADEDs.
Yeah, it stands for the Behavioral Agentic Design System. It is basically designed to give AI agents actual memory and ethical boundaries.
Okay, wait. How exactly does a design system give an AI memory? Because I got to be honest, that sounds like pure marketing jargon.
I know. But it functions as a semantic layer. So instead of the AI agent hallucinating a button from scratch based on some generic prompt, BADEs forces the agent to query a stateful library.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it checks the specific accessibility constraints mapped to that exact component and then outputs a validated JSON structure. It creates a structural boundary so the AI cannot just generate some generic broken interface.
So this is pushing teams completely away from visual tools at the start of a project.
The sources outline this movement called right-first design. Teams are realizing that jumping straight into generating pretty mock-ups allows you to hide a lot of deeply flawed reasoning behind slick gradients.
Oh, absolutely.
Forcing a team to write their decisions down in plain text exposes bad logic before a single pixel is ever rendered. I mean, writing forces you to define the constraints.
And that realization, that generic prompt-based generation creates these structural messes, that is the exact reason big tech is completely retreating from the everything chatbot model.
Right. I saw that Airbnb CEO Brian Chesky just launched an independent AI lab. And his stated strategy is to intentionally ignore generic chatbots.
Yeah, he wants nothing to do with them.
He has no interest in the universal interface that can write a sonnet and also book a cabin. He is focusing entirely on highly specialized, intuitive interfaces designed specifically and exclusively for travel.
Which is so smart, because AI is transitioning from being the shiny front and center feature to becoming invisible. It's basically highly specialized plumbing working in the background.
Right.
Look at Canva hitting $4 billion in annualized revenue. They achieved that by partnering with Snowflake to use AI purely for deep back-end data personalization.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they are unifying raw data warehouse information directly with the creative layer. It completely bypasses the traditional handoff between marketing and design, making AI this invisible conduit that segments users in real time.
That's brilliant.
They are actively hunting for internal AI heroes who can drive this invisible back-end innovation.
And Meta's applying the exact same invisible strategy, too.
Yep.
They're updating their Edits video app with an AI assistant that does not generate videos from text. Instead, it just analyzes your specific Instagram performance data to suggest audio tracks that will trend for your unique audience.
Highly specialized.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Amazon Shopping app now lets you design custom physical merchandise using Alexa text prompts.
Oh, right, the shirts and tumblers.
Yeah. The AI handles the design generation, formatting it for the printer, and routing the shipping logic. And it's completely integrated into the existing shopping flow without drawing attention to itself.
We actually see this at the operating system level too. Like in the iOS 27 leaks, Apple's new image playground is baked directly into their private cloud compute architecture.
Right.
It generates photorealistic images, but invisibly tags them with hidden synthide watermarks.
The mechanism of that synthide is so fascinating to me.
It really is.
Because instead of stamping some visible logo in the corner, it mathematically tweaks individual pixels. Like the red value of a specific pixel shifts by a fraction of a percent in a grid pattern.
Yeah.
The human eye cannot detect it at all, but a cryptographic scanner instantly recognizes the signature. It's basically baking transparency into the literal math of the image.
Exactly. And meanwhile, Microsoft's new MAI Image 2.5 model, which just hit #2 on the Arena leaderboard, is celebrated specifically because it does highly precise, localized edits.
So not just making up new stuff.
Right. Object replacement, background cleanup. It is not about generating whole new realities. It is about fixing the specific reality you are already working in. It is AI as a utility, meant to shorten the gap between intent and action.
Okay, wait. If the goal of AI is to act as this specialized janitor that reduces cognitive load, I have to point out the absolute irony in the Netflix update mentioned in the stack.
Oh, the choice paralysis thing.
Yes, Netflix is using generative AI and natural language processing to help solve choice paralysis for their subscribers. Are they seriously using a multi-billion-dollar large language model to fix the exact problem they created by over-commissioning mediocre content for a decade?
Yeah, it is deeply
I
ironic.
mean, that is not innovation. That is using AI to clean up their own bloated mess.
I agree, but their chief product officer essentially acknowledged that reality. Specialized AI is currently best at sweeping up the overwhelming complexity of the digital world and presenting you with a single, clear path forward.
But here is where this entire software theory hits a brick wall. All of these hyper-complex, invisible AI agents still have to funnel through a 6-inch rectangle in your pocket.
The hardware.
The physical screen becomes the ultimate bottleneck. Software can scale infinitely, but it has to exist on operating systems governed by human hands and human eyes.
And those physical constraints are forcing a massive reality check across the entire industry.
The hardware leaks show this perfectly. So Apple's upcoming iPhone Fold is rumored to feature a 7.8-inch inner display and a 5.5-inch outer screen.
Right, in that compact passport-style design.
Exactly. With Touch ID integrated into the side button. And the software inside it, iOS 27, is actively pulling back on chaos. Like the AirPods settings, which are notorious for being a nested mess of menus, are getting a highly intuitive icon-based redesign to reduce scrolling.
Thank God.
Right. The overall OS is utilizing a liquid glass design language focused heavily on readability, high contrast, and transparent user controls. They're actively moving search functions back to familiar, visible tab bars instead of hiding them behind complex swipe gestures.
The sources actually connect this hardware retreat back to the philosophical frameworks of Dieter Rams.
Okay, you're going to have to explain that connection.
Well, Rams believed design should be unobtrusive and honest, prioritizing human needs. As AI software gets more capable and wildly complex, the hardware and the user interface must become radically simple to balance the cognitive load.
So the hardware grounds the AI.
Exactly. Good AI should stay out of the way, handle failures gracefully, and communicate its limitations honestly.
Wait, I am struggling to connect this, though. You are saying Dieter Rams' 1970s calculator designs are driving iOS 27? That feels like a massive stretch.
I hear you, but
I mean, look at Audi. They just unveiled a secret hybrid supercar called the new Volare. $650,000, 1,000 horsepower. And their chief creative officer called their new design direction Radical Next, focused on extreme simplicity.
right.
But stripping down a dashboard does not mean industrial design is suddenly anchoring us to physical reality. It just means minimalistic aesthetics are trendy right now.
No, but it is not about the aesthetic trend. It is about applying RAMs, a cognitive load framework, directly to AI latent space and UI generation. RAM's rule that good design is honest means the system must not make a product appear more innovative, powerful, or valuable than it really is.
Oh, I see.
When an AI generates a confident but hallucinated answer, it violates that honesty. By forcing interfaces back into rigid, predictable paradigms like physical side buttons or visible tab bars, hardware makers are applying physical honesty to synthetic environments.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
Even James Cameron's production studio, Lightstorm Vision, just acquired a 3D camera maker called Stereotech. They are streamlining complex stereoscopic pipelines to make the physical capture of 3D as simple as possible, because visual and operational complexity just exhausts the human brain.
Okay, so if hardware anchors us physically with rigid paradigms, what anchors us emotionally? Because we are living in a world where an AI can generate a technically flawless, mathematically centered, perfectly lit image or interface in 3 seconds.
And that leads to the most surprising insight from the entire stack of newsletters. There is a massive cultural rebellion happening against digital perfection.
A flaw is the feature.
Exactly. The quote from the source is literally, "The flaw is the future. When AI smooths away every irregularity and every rough edge, perfect design simply becomes a cheap commodity."
Right.
Research actually shows that people value creations significantly more when they perceive human effort and struggle behind them. Unpredictable imperfections make the work feel authentic.
Okay, this is exactly what I was thinking about. AI perfection right now feels exactly like auto-tune did in the early 2000s music scene.
Oh, that is a great comparison.
Right. When auto-tune first hit, it was everywhere. It was flawless. Every pop star used it, and every single note was mathematically pitch perfect. And then suddenly, audiences completely revolted.
They got tired of it.
They desperately wanted to hear the raw scrape of a finger on an acoustic guitar string. They wanted to hear a voice slightly crack with emotion. Friction became the new luxury.
Friction is absolutely the new luxury. We see this in the broader UX trends for 2026, too. There's a massive shift away from hyperstimulation toward what is being called slow browsing.
Low browsing.
Yeah. Users want interfaces with breathing room. Brands are moving away from homogeneous, flat designs toward textured, analog-inspired visuals.
I saw that heritage pastry brand Juicerol just redesign their packaging to be bolder, celebrating the messy authenticity of home baking. And Stone & Skillet redesigned their identity around a simple, slightly imperfect skillet symbol. You even see it in B2B tech. Clay Global redesigned a platform called PartStack, which is like a search engine for semiconductor components.
Oh, wait, highly technical.
Exactly. And they intentionally used a mix of rough technical drawings alongside slick product renders. It gives this grounded human engineering feel to a highly technical product.
And the reaction to Google's recent app icon update proves this point entirely.
Oh man, the parodies.
Google pushed these very clean, mathematically perfect, modern icons, and users immediately started a trend of creating literal skeuomorphic parodies.
Yeah, making the Google Sheets icon look like a pile of actual crumpled bed
That's
sheets.
making Google Earth look like a literal pile of dirt. Users are desperately craving something tangible with texture.
And this craving for the human element extends way beyond visual aesthetics, too. It applies to empathy as a core functional tool. There's a study highlighted by Fable involving UX research that blew my mind.
The accessibility study.
Yes. They found that participants with cognitive disabilities identified 1.8 times more usability issues on AI-generated websites than the general population.
Wow. 1.8 times.
Because zero-friction AI layouts often lack visual hierarchy. The AI smooths everything out so much that it removes the necessary signposts a human brain relies on.
Yeah, participants with cognitive disabilities surface problems with cognitive load and mental effort that an AI or even a typical tester just glides right past.
Which proves that cognitive inclusion and tools like cultural probes find edge cases that algorithmic testing simply cannot see.
We should probably define cultural probes for a second because it goes way beyond typical A/B testing.
Yeah, definitely.
You do not just put a user in a sterile lab and watch them click a mouse. You give them a diary, a disposable camera, a set of prompts to document their environment over a week.
Well, that's fascinating.
Yeah, you capture the emotional context of their workflow, which is
Yeah.
something algorithmic testing misses entirely. Human empathy is the absolute premium skill now.
That makes total sense.
The sources discuss this in the context of lawful design, too. Like, look at cookie consent banners.
Ugh, the worst.
Historically, legal teams bolt those on at the very end of the design process to just check a compliance box. And it creates these dark patterns that trick the user. Lawful design treats legal constraints as a primary UX parameter from day one.
Oh, so instead of a trick, it's a feature.
Right. Navigating a legal requirement thoughtfully is an act of human empathy. A human designer makes sure the user actually comprehends the data trade-off they're making.
This completely redefines the role of the human in the loop. The sources break this down in a piece about the 4 design jobs AI created.
Yeah, the strategic advisor role.
Exactly. The modern job is no longer just pixel pushing. AI can push the pixels. AI can do the vibe coding. The human's real influence is acting as a strategic advisor. It is about cross-functional collaboration.
Right.
You are looking at the full picture, presenting the trade-offs, understanding the business constraints, and preserving the human context that the AI completely lacks.
So, let's summarize the journey we have been on today for you listening. We started at the dangerous, thrilling high speeds of vibe coding, where you can speak an app into existence but risk building a house of cards plagued by code smells.
Yep.
We saw how that complexity ceiling is forcing the creation of stripped structural guardrails, like BADs, and it's pushing big tech to retreat from generic chatbots into highly specialized, invisible AI tools that act as back-end plumbing.
And then we explored how the physical constraints of hardware are acting as bottlenecks, forcing interfaces back to simplicity and cognitive honesty.
The Dieter Rams effect.
Exactly. And finally, we landed on the ultimate premium of the future, the human rebellion. Our flaws, our empathy, and our tangible friction are the very things that make our work valuable in an age of instant synthetic perfection.
So for you listening right now, the takeaway for your own workflow is clear. Do not stress about keeping up with every single new AI generation tool that drops on a Tuesday.
It's impossible anyway.
It is. The tools will inevitably change. Instead, Focus your energy on structure. Focus on context. And most importantly, preserve the unique human flaws, the edge cases, and the deep empathy in your work. That is your actual competitive advantage.
That is perfectly said. But I do want to leave you with one final provocative thought to mull over.
Uh-oh. Lay it on us.
Well, we established that human flaws and the handmade aesthetic are becoming the new premium. The sources mention Krista Gerald, an artist building these beautifully messy, handmade-looking 3D worlds. And we see it in 3D printed tech designs that look intentionally organic and weird.
Right.
But if the market has decided that human flaws are the ultimate luxury, how long until AI is specifically trained to beautifully simulate our mistakes?
Oh, wow.
Right. When a digital product feels intimately handmade with the perfect amount of friction and texture, how will you ever know if you are connecting with a human soul or just a perfectly engineered synthetic flaw?
That is slightly terrifying.
Keep questioning the systems around you, and we will catch you on the next deep dive.
Spoken Tech for your ears.